They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but mine was served at a birthday party in front of 60 people with a projector screen and enough evidence to destroy 2 lives in under 10 minutes. I'm not proud of what I did. Actually, that's a lie. I'm incredibly proud. My name is Sophia Carter, and I'm 29 years old. This is the story of how I caught my boyfriend cheating with my best friend and made sure everyone knew exactly who they really were. It started on a Wednesday morning in late September. I remember because it was trash day, and I was running late for a presentation at work. My boyfriend Ethan Blake had already left for his job at the tech startup downtown. Ethan was 31 with perfect hair and a smile that made strangers trust him immediately. That smile should have been my first warning. We'd been together for 4 years. 4 years of Sunday morning pancakes and Netflix binges, and talking about getting a dog once we moved to a bigger place. 4 years of me thinking I'd found my person. I was halfway out the door when I realized I'd forgotten my laptop charger. I ran back inside, and that's when I saw it. Ethan's iPad sitting on the kitchen counter, still unlocked. He never left it unlocked. The man had more passwords than the Pentagon. I wasn't trying to snoop. I swear I wasn't. But the screen was open to his messages, and there at the top was a conversation with someone named M with a purple heart emoji. The preview message said, "Can't wait to see you tonight. Emma's working late, so we have time." Emma, that's me. Emma Carter. Well, Emma Rodriguez before I took my mother's maiden name after she passed. Everyone calls me Sophia, though. It's my middle name, and after my mom died, I needed a fresh start. Only close friends know about Emma. My hands started shaking. M Purple Heart, can't wait to see you. Emma's working late. I opened the conversation and my entire world tilted sideways. Hundreds of messages, photos, voice notes, plans to meet up, inside jokes, heart emojis and I love yous and God, I can't stop thinking about you. M was Madison Foster, my best friend since college. Madison, who was 28 and worked as a yoga instructor and had the kind of effortless beauty that made people stare. Madison, who'd helped me pick out my anniversary gift for Ethan last month. Madison, who'd cried on my couch 3 weeks ago about being lonely and single. Madison, who was apparently very much not single. I scrolled through months of messages. It started in June, 4 months ago, right after Madison had broken up with her boyfriend Tyler. She'd been devastated. I'd been there for her every single day, bringing her food, letting her stay at our apartment when she didn't want to be alone. Our apartment where apparently she and Ethan had started whatever this was. There were messages about me, about how I was so focused on work lately, how I never wanted to go out anymore, how Ethan felt neglected, how Madison understood him in ways I apparently didn't. One message from Ethan made me actually gasp out loud, trying to figure out how to end things with Emma. I care about her, but this thing with you feels different, more real. I was still standing in my kitchen holding his iPad when I heard keys in the door. Ethan had come back. He'd forgotten something too. He walked in and saw me frozen there with his iPad in my hands, and his face went completely white. "Sophia, I can explain," he said. I just stared at him. 4 years. 4 years and he could throw it away for my best friend. "It's not what it looks like," he continued, even though we both knew it was exactly what it looked like. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't throw the iPad at his head even though I really wanted to. I just said, "Get out." "But Sophia, this is my apartment too." He was right. Both our names were on the lease. We'd signed it together 2 years ago with champagne and dreams of our future. "Fine," I said. "Then I'm leaving." I walked past him, grabbed my purse and my laptop bag and left. I didn't take anything else. Just walked out of the apartment and my life and got in my car. I drove for an hour, not really seeing where I was going. Finally, I pulled into a Target parking lot and just sat there. That's when I called my sister. Vanessa Carter was 33 and had always been the strong one in our family. She was a corporate lawyer with 2 kids and a husband who actually loved her. When I told her what happened, she said 3 words. "Destroy them both." Normally, Vanessa was the voice of reason, the one who told me to take the high road and be mature, but she'd never liked Ethan. said he was too charming, too smooth, and she'd always thought Madison was a fair-weather friend. I can't just destroy them, I said. Can I? Sophia, you've spent 4 years being the cool girlfriend, the understanding friend, the one who never makes waves. Look where that got you. Maybe it's time people saw who they really are. She had a point. I'd always been the peacekeeper, the one who smoothed things over and gave people second chances and believed the best in everyone. And all it had gotten me was a cheating boyfriend and a backstabbing best friend. Ethan's birthday is in 3 weeks, I said slowly. I've been planning this huge party for him. I rented a rooftop venue, invited everyone we know, his parents, his coworkers, all our friends. Vanessa was quiet for a moment, then she laughed. It was a cold laugh. Sophia Carter, are you thinking what I think you're thinking? I'm thinking I've already paid the deposit on the venue. Might as well use it. That's my girl. What do you need? Evidence, lots of evidence, and a good AV setup. Vanessa knew a private investigator from work, a woman named Rebecca Stone who was 45 and had seen every type of betrayal imaginable. We met at a coffee shop that afternoon. I showed her the messages on Ethan's iPad. I'd taken screenshots of everything before leaving the apartment. Rebecca looked through them with the expression of someone who'd seen it all before. How long until the party, she asked. 3 weeks, October 20th. That's enough time. I'll need you to act completely normal, go back to the apartment, pretend nothing happened. Can you do that? I thought about it. Could I look Ethan in the face every day knowing what I knew? Could I smile and plan his birthday party and sleep next to him at night? Yes, I said, I can do that. Rebecca nodded. Good, here's what we're going to do. For the next 3 weeks, I became an actress. I went back to the apartment that night and told Ethan I'd overreacted. That I'd seen the messages with Madison, but I understood they were just friends, and I'd let my insecurities get the better of me. He'd looked so relieved, so grateful. He'd hugged me and said he was sorry if he'd made me feel neglected, that he loved me, that Madison was just someone he could talk to about work stuff. I'd smiled and said I understood and that I trusted him. I didn't trust him. I didn't trust either of them, but I needed them to trust me. Rebecca had planted a small camera in our bedroom, another in the living room, a GPS tracker on Ethan's car, audio recorders in his jacket pockets. It felt insane and invasive and absolutely necessary. Within a week, we had everything. Video of Madison coming over while I was at work, audio of them talking about me, about their plans for the future, about how after Ethan's birthday party they were going to sit me down and tell me together. How thoughtful I'd said to Rebecca when she played me that recording. They were going to tell me together. The evidence kept coming. Photos of them at restaurants across town where they thought no one would see them. Hotel receipts from Ethan's credit card. Text messages where they coordinated their schedules around mine. The worst part was how normal everything seemed on the surface. Ethan came home every night, kissed me, asked about my day, made dinner with me, watched TV, came to bed. Madison still texted me daily, still wanted to hang out, still acted like my best friend. She even helped me pick out decorations for Ethan's party. You're going all out for this one, she'd said, looking at the fancy venue website. He only turns 32 once, I'd replied. I want it to be memorable. Oh, it'll be memorable, Madison had said. She had no idea how right she was. The party was on a Saturday night. I'd invited 75 people. Ethan's parents, Rebecca and Thomas Blake, his younger sister, Amy, who was 26, his coworkers from the tech startup, our college friends, his gym buddies, Madison, of course, my sister Vanessa and her husband, Marcus. I'd told Ethan it was a surprise party, but he knew. I'd let it slip on purpose 2 weeks earlier. I didn't want him actually surprised. I wanted him comfortable, unsuspecting. The morning of the party, I woke up next to him and watched him sleep. 4 years. I'd given him 4 years of my life, my 20s. The time everyone says you're supposed to be selfish and free and figuring yourself out. I'd spent it building a life with someone who was quietly planning to leave me. He woke up and smiled at me. "Morning, birthday boy," I said. He pulled me close. "Best birthday already," he said. "Just wait," I told him. "You have no idea what I have planned." The venue was perfect. A rooftop space with views of the city skyline, string lights everywhere, a DJ set up in the corner, a projector screen I'd told everyone was for a slideshow of photos from Ethan's life. Rebecca had helped me put together the real slideshow. Screenshots of messages, photos from the private investigator, audio recordings transcribed, video clips, a timeline of the entire affair laid out in excruciating detail. Guests started arriving at 7. Madison showed up wearing a tight black dress that I'm sure she'd picked out specifically for Ethan. She hugged me and said, "The venue looks amazing, Sophia." "Thanks," I said. I really wanted everything perfect. Ethan arrived at 7:30 pretending to be surprised. Everyone sang happy birthday. I brought out a cake. We all ate and drank and mingled. It was a beautiful party. Everyone said so. At 8:30, I clinked a glass to get everyone's attention. "I'd like to say a few words," I announced. The room quieted down. Ethan was standing in the front looking at me with so much love in his eyes. Or maybe it was guilt. I was starting to realize I didn't know the difference. 4 years ago, I met Ethan Blake, I began. He was charming and funny, and he made me believe in love again after a really hard breakup. We built a life together, an apartment, a friend group, a future. Everyone smiled. Some people awed. Madison was standing off to the side looking emotional. "I also met my best friend Madison in college," I continued. "She's been by my side through everything. Breakups, job changes, my mom's death. She's the person I called when I needed advice, when I needed support, when I needed a friend." Madison wiped her eyes. People were taking photos. This was so sweet, so heartfelt. "So I want to thank both of them," I said, "for teaching me who they really are." The mood shifted. People looked confused. Ethan's smile faltered. Madison's expression changed. I turned to my sister, who was standing by the AV equipment. Vanessa hit play. The projector screen lit up. The first image was a text message thread between Ethan and M with the purple heart, dated June 15th, 4 months ago. "Ethan, I can't stop thinking about last night." "M, me neither. Emma's at that conference all weekend. Come over." "Ethan, already on my way." The room was completely silent. You could hear people breathing. "M is Madison Foster," I said calmly. "My best friend, for anyone wondering." The next slide was a photo. Madison and Ethan at a restaurant. They were holding hands across the table. The private investigator had taken it from outside the window. "This was taken July 3rd, I said. "I was at my dad's house for the 4th of July weekend. Ethan said he had to work." Next slide. Hotel receipt from the Marriott downtown. Ethan's credit card. August 22nd, a Friday night. "I was at a work retreat that weekend," I explained. "Madison told me she was visiting her parents in Portland." The slides kept coming. Messages where they talked about me, called me boring, said I was too focused on work, discussed how to break up with me gently. One message filled the entire screen. "Ethan, after my birthday party, we should tell her together. Be honest. She deserves that much." "M, do you think she'll hate us?" "Ethan, probably, but she'll get over it. She always does." I let that one sit for a long moment. "She always does," I repeated. He's right. I do always get over things. I forgive. I move on. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I looked directly at Ethan. His face was red. He was shaking his head like he could somehow make this not real. "But not this time," I said. "This time everyone gets to see exactly who you are." More slides, more evidence. Madison coming to our apartment while I was at work. Video footage from the living room camera of them on our couch. Nothing explicit, but very clearly intimate. Madison tried to leave. My sister blocked the door. "You're going to stay until this is finished," Vanessa said. Ethan's mother, Rebecca, looked like she might be sick. His father, Thomas, was staring at his son with pure disgust. His sister, Amy, was filming on her phone. The grand finale was an audio recording from 2 weeks ago. Crystal clear. Ethan and Madison in our apartment. Madison's voice. What if she finds out before we tell her? Ethan's voice. She won't. Sophia trusts me completely. It's honestly kind of sad how naive she is. Madison's voice. I do feel bad sometimes. Ethan's voice. Don't. We're not doing anything wrong. We fell in love. That's not a crime. Madison's voice. Tell that to Sophia. Ethan's voice. Sophia will be fine. She's strong. She'll probably throw herself into work and be dating someone new in 6 months. She's resilient like that. The recording ended. I turned off the projector. Resilient, I said. That's what you call someone when you're planning to break their heart and want to feel better about it. The room was chaos. People were yelling. Ethan's mother was crying. His father was demanding Ethan explain himself. Our friends were looking at Madison with horror. Madison was crying. Sophia, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. It just happened, I interrupted. Right, you just happened to sleep with my boyfriend multiple times for 4 months, while pretending to be my best friend, while helping me plan this party. It all just happened. Ethan tried to approach me. Sophia, please, can we talk about this privately? Privately, I laughed. You wanted to tell me in private after the party, right? After you'd had one more night of me celebrating you and supporting you and loving you. Well, guess what? I changed the plan. This is insane, Ethan said. You're humiliating us in front of everyone. No, I said. You humiliated yourselves. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it. One of Ethan's coworkers, a guy named David, stepped forward. Dude, I drove 2 hours for this party. I took time away from my family. And this is what you've been doing. Cheating on Sophia with her best friend. Another friend, Julia, spoke up. Madison, I defended you when people said you were using Sophia. I told them you were a real friend. I feel like an idiot. Ethan's sister, Amy, stopped filming. I always knew you were a selfish prick, she said to her brother, but this is low even for you. The crowd turned on them. One by one, people left, walked out shaking their heads, taking their gifts back. A few people hugged me on their way out, told me I deserved better, said they were sorry. Ethan's parents left without speaking to him. Rebecca looked at me and said, I'm so sorry, dear. You were always too good for him. Within 20 minutes, the venue was empty, except for me, Vanessa Marcus, and Rebecca, the private investigator, and Ethan and Madison, who stood there looking destroyed. You're insane, Ethan finally said. You could have just broken up with me. You didn't have to do this. You're right, I said. I could have broken up with you quietly. Let you and Madison ride off into the sunset. Let everyone think we just grew apart. Let you be the good guy who fell in love with someone else. Let Madison be the friend who accidentally caught feelings. I walked closer to him, but then everyone would think you're a good person. And you're not. You're a liar and a cheater, and you deserve for people to know that. Madison was sobbing. My life is ruined. Everyone's going to hate me. Good, I said. Maybe don't sleep with your best friend's boyfriend next time. Vanessa handed me my purse. Come on, Sophia, let's get you out of here. I took one last look at Ethan and Madison. They looked small somehow, diminished, like all the shine had been stripped away and everyone could finally see the rot underneath. I walked out of that venue and didn't look back. The aftermath was swift and brutal. By Sunday morning, the video Amy had taken was everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, millions of views, thousands of comments. Most were supportive, calling me a queen, an icon, saying I'd handled it perfectly. Some people criticized me, said I'd gone too far, that public humiliation was cruel, that I should have been mature and handled it privately. I didn't care what those people thought. By Monday, Ethan had been asked to take leave from his job. Apparently, having a viral video of you being exposed as a cheater wasn't great for company morale. Madison lost several brand partnerships. Turns out yoga companies don't want their instructors associated with betrayal and infidelity. I moved out of the apartment that week. Vanessa and Marcus helped me pack my stuff while Ethan was at work. I took everything that was mine and nothing that wasn't. Left my key on the counter and walked away. Found a new apartment across town. One bedroom, just for me. I painted the walls blue and bought new furniture and started over. People asked if I regretted it, the public exposure, the viral video, the nuclear option. I never did, not once. Because here's what people don't understand. It wasn't about revenge. Well, okay, it was partly about revenge, but it was more about refusing to protect people who'd hurt me. For 4 years, I'd been the cool girlfriend, the understanding one, the one who didn't make waves or cause drama. I'd made myself small and convenient and easy. And Ethan had taken advantage of that, had counted on me being too nice to make a scene, too forgiving to demand accountability, too resilient to really be hurt. That party was me saying no. I'm not protecting you. I'm not making this easy. I'm not going quietly. Within a month, I'd started a podcast, called it No More Nice Girl, talked about people pleasing and setting boundaries and refusing to carry other people's shame, shared my story in detail. It blew up. Within 3 months, I had over 100,000 listeners, women and men reaching out to share their own stories of betrayal, of being too nice, of finally standing up for themselves. I got messages from people who said my story gave them courage, women who confronted their cheating partners, people who stopped making excuses for bad friends, individuals who learned it's okay to be angry when someone hurts you. One woman named Patricia wrote to say she'd been married to a serial cheater for 15 years. She'd forgiven him 3 times, taken him back because she didn't want to disrupt their kids' lives, didn't want people to judge her. Then she listened to my podcast episode about the birthday party. The next day, she filed for divorce. Your story showed me I was protecting him at my own expense, she wrote. I was teaching my daughters that this is what love looks like. Silence and forgiveness and pretending everything's fine. I don't want that for them. Thank you for showing me there's another way. Messages like that made everything worth it. Ethan tried to reach out a few times. Long, apologetic emails. Texts saying he'd made a mistake, that he missed me, that what we had was real even if he'd screwed it up. I blocked him. I didn't need his apologies or explanations. Didn't need closure or a final conversation. I'd gotten everything I needed at that party. Madison tried too. She sent a handwritten letter, 6 pages of apologies and explanations and justifications. How it had started innocently, how they'd fought it, how she'd never meant to hurt me. I read it once, then I threw it away. I didn't need to forgive her to move on. The podcast led to speaking engagements. I started doing talks at colleges and companies about authenticity and boundaries and self-respect, about the difference between being kind and being a doormat. At one event, a young woman approached me afterward. She was maybe 22. She said my boyfriend cheated on me last month. My friends told me to just move on, to be classy about it. But I keep thinking about what you did. Was it worth it? I looked at this young woman who was giving someone else the power to define her story, letting other people tell her how to react to her own pain. Here's what I told her. Being classy is overrated. You know what's better than being classy? Being honest, refusing to protect people who hurt you, making sure everyone knows what they're capable of so they can't do it to someone else. She nodded slowly. I think I need to stop being so nice. I smiled. Nice is fine, but nice doesn't mean silent. 6 months after the party, I ran into Ethan at a coffee shop. It was awkward. He looked thinner, tired. He started to say something, but I held up my hand. I don't want to hear it, I said. I don't want your apologies or your regrets. I don't care if you've changed or learned something or become a better person. That's not my concern anymore. Sophia, please, just give me 2 minutes. I looked at him, this man I'd loved for 4 years, who I'd built a life with, who I'd thought was my future. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no lingering affection, just nothing. No, I said, and walked away. That moment was better than the party, better than the revenge. That moment of feeling absolutely nothing for someone who'd once meant everything. That was freedom. A year after the party, I started dating again. Nothing serious at first. Coffee dates and walks in the park. Getting to know people without the weight of expectation. I met a man named Oliver at a bookstore. He was 35 and taught high school English and had kind eyes. We talked for 3 hours that first day. He asked me out. I said yes. On our third date, he asked about my previous relationship. I'd been dreading this question. It ended badly, I said. He nodded. My last relationship did too. My ex-fiancée cheated on me with her personal trainer. Broke off our engagement 3 months before the wedding. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be. It was the best thing that could have happened. Taught me what I don't want, what I won't accept. He looked at me. I Googled you, by the way, after our first date. Found the video of the birthday party. Oh, I said, that. Oliver smiled. That was the most badass thing I've ever seen. You didn't just stand up for yourself. You refused to be silent. I respect that. Most people think I went too far. Most people have never been betrayed by the two people they trusted most. Most people don't understand that sometimes loud is better than dignified. We dated for 8 months before I told him I loved him. It was terrifying. Letting myself be vulnerable again. Trusting someone with my heart after what happened. But Oliver wasn't Ethan. He was honest and direct, and when he said he loved me, I believed him. 2 years after the party, I got a message from Madison. It was brief. I know I don't deserve a response. I just wanted you to know I'm in therapy, working on myself, trying to understand why I did what I did. You were right about everything. I was a terrible friend. I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, to say I appreciated the apology, to offer some kind of forgiveness or closure, but I didn't owe her that, didn't owe her anything. I deleted the message without responding. Forgiveness is optional. That's something I learned. You don't have to forgive people who hurt you. You don't have to absolve them or make them feel better or help them move on. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is say, this is what you did, and I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen, and I don't have to give you closure. 3 years after the party, my podcast hit 1 million downloads. I quit my marketing job and did the podcast full-time. Started a blog. Wrote articles for major publications about relationships and betrayal and self-worth. Built a career out of refusing to be quiet about my pain. People still recognized me sometimes. The girl from the birthday party video. Some wanted selfies. Some wanted to share their own stories. Some just wanted to say thank you. I was at a conference in Chicago when a woman approached me. She was maybe 50 with graying hair and a warm smile. You're Sophia Carter, she said. I am. I'm a therapist. I specialize in helping people recover from betrayal. Infidelity, toxic friendships, family estrangement. I've been doing this work for 25 years. She paused. I show your video to my clients sometimes. The birthday party one. Really? I was surprised. Most therapists probably didn't recommend public humiliation. She smiled. I show it when someone is stuck in people-pleasing mode. When they're more concerned with how they'll look than with honoring their own pain. When they need permission to be angry. Does it help? She nodded. It shows them there's more than one way to handle betrayal. That sometimes protecting your reputation is less important than protecting your self-respect. That conference was full of therapists and counselors and people who work in relationship healing. I gave a talk about my experience, expected judgment or criticism. Instead, I got a standing ovation. After the talk, a man raised his hand during Q&A. He said, I'm a marriage counselor. I help couples work through infidelity. But sometimes the betrayed partner stays stuck in denial. They minimize the cheating, make excuses for their partner, can't access their anger. He looked at me. What you did at that party, that's what healthy anger looks like. That's someone who values themselves enough to demand accountability. I wish more of my clients had that courage. I never thought of it as courage. I thought of it as anger and hurt and a refusal to be humiliated quietly. But maybe courage and anger aren't so different. Maybe they're two sides of the same coin. 4 years after the party, Oliver proposed. We were on a hiking trail overlooking the ocean. It was simple and perfect, and everything Ethan's proposal hadn't been. Ethan had proposed at a fancy restaurant with a photographer hiding nearby. It had felt performative, like he was checking a box. Oliver proposed because he loved me and wanted to build a life with me, not because it was what you do after dating for a certain amount of time. I said yes. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, just family and close friends, people who'd stood by me through everything. Vanessa was my maid of honor. Rebecca, the private investigator, came, even brought a +1. No drama, no surprises, no one questioning whether this was real or right or meant to be. Just two people who chose each other and meant it. At the reception, Vanessa gave a speech. She talked about how proud she was of me, how I'd gone through something devastating and come out stronger. 4 years ago, my sister's heart was broken, she said, but she didn't break with it. She stood up. She spoke up. She refused to be a victim in someone else's story, and that decision changed everything. Vanessa raised her glass to Sophia, the bravest person I know, who taught us all that sometimes the right thing to do is burn it down and build something better from the ashes. Everyone cheered. Oliver leaned over and whispered, "You really did burn it down, didn't you?" I smiled, to the ground. I haven't seen Ethan in years. Don't know what happened to him. Don't care. Last I heard, he'd moved to another city, started over somewhere people didn't know his story. Madison moved to California, went to therapy. From what I understand, she's doing better. Found someone new, living a quieter life. Good for her, I guess. I hope she learned something. Hope she's a better person now than she was then. But that's not my concern. My concern is my life, my marriage, my work, my podcast listeners who message me saying you helped me find my voice. That's what that birthday party did. It gave me my voice back. The voice I'd been suppressing for years, trying to be the cool girlfriend, the understanding friend, the one who didn't rock the boat. Turns out I'm really good at rocking boats. Actually, I'm excellent at it. 5 years after the party, I was interviewed for a magazine article about modern relationships and social media. The journalist asked if I ever regretted the public exposure. I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I said. The only thing I regret is not seeing it sooner, not trusting my instincts when I felt something was off, not valuing myself enough to demand honesty. The journalist wrote down my words. Then she said, "Some people say you were vindictive, that you destroyed 2 people's lives over a mistake." It wasn't a mistake, I said. Mistakes are accidental. What they did was a choice. Hundreds of choices. Every text message, every meetup, every lie. All choices. And what you did at the party. Also a choice. I chose not to protect people who hurt me. I chose to make sure everyone knew the truth. I chose myself. The article came out a month later. The headline was "Sophia Carter refuses to apologize for her revenge, and neither should you." It went viral again. 5 years later, and people were still talking about that birthday party. I got messages from people saying thank you for not backing down, for not apologizing, for standing by your decision. Because that's the thing. Society wants betrayed people to be quiet, to be dignified, to take the high road, to forgive and move on without making anyone uncomfortable. But why? Why do the people who got hurt have to make it easy for everyone else? Why do we have to protect the feelings of people who didn't protect ours? We don't, and I refuse to pretend we do. My podcast is ending its 5th year. Over 5 million downloads. Book deal in the works. Speaking engagements booked through next year. All because I refuse to be quiet about what happened to me. People ask what I want my legacy to be. I want people to know it's okay to be angry. It's okay to make noise. It's okay to refuse to protect people who hurt you. I want the next woman who gets cheated on to remember my story and think I don't have to handle this quietly. I want people to stop equating silence with strength and dignity with doormat. I want everyone who's ever been told you're overreacting, or you should be mature about this, or just let it go, to know that sometimes the most mature thing you can do is make sure everyone knows the truth. That birthday party was 5 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. I can still see Ethan's face when the first message appeared on the screen, can still hear Madison crying, can still feel my heart pounding as I stood in front of everyone I knew and chose to tell the truth. Best decision I ever made. Not the revenge part, not the public humiliation, not even the satisfaction of watching them face consequences. The best part was choosing myself, choosing my truth, choosing to believe I deserved better than silence and secrets, and making it easy for people who'd made my life hard. My name is Sophia Carter, and I'm 34 years old. 5 years ago, my boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend, so I exposed them at his birthday party in front of 75 people. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. Because here's what I learned. You teach people how to treat you. And when you accept betrayal quietly, you teach them that your feelings don't matter, that they can hurt you and face no consequences, that you'll protect their reputation at the expense of your own healing. I taught Ethan and Madison something different. I taught them that actions have consequences, that betrayal doesn't happen in a vacuum, that some people will stand up and fight back and refuse to be the silent victim in someone else's story. And I taught myself something too, that I'm stronger than I thought, braver than I knew, capable of surviving anything, including the loss of the two people I trusted most. 5 years later, I'm married to a man who loves me honestly. I have a career I built from my pain. I have listeners and readers and people who found strength in my story. I have a life I'm proud of, one I built from the ashes of that birthday party. Was it worth it? The viral video, the public exposure, the years of people recognizing me as the girl who blew up her boyfriend's birthday party. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Because that party wasn't just about Ethan and Madison. It was about every person who's been told to be quiet, to be nice, to not cause a scene. It was about refusing to make myself small to accommodate people who made me feel small. It was about standing on that rooftop in front of everyone I knew and saying this happened to me, and I'm not pretending it didn't, and I'm not protecting the people who did it. That's power, real power, not the kind that comes from money or status or physical strength, but the kind that comes from valuing yourself enough to demand the truth, to demand respect, to demand accountability. Some people will never understand. They'll always think I went too far, that I should have been more mature, more dignified, more quiet. Those people have never had their heart broken by someone they trusted completely, have never smiled at someone who was secretly destroying their life, have never felt the particular pain of loving someone who didn't love you back. Or maybe they have. Maybe they felt all of that and chose silence, chose dignity, chose to protect their betrayer. And that's fine. Everyone gets to choose how they respond to pain. I chose noise. I chose exposure. I chose to make sure everyone knew the truth. And I'd make the same choice again, every single time. Because I'd rather be the girl who burned it all down than the girl who stayed quiet and let herself burn. My name is Sophia Carter. This was my story. If you like this story, then don't forget to like and subscribe.